Hi everyone, welcome to the 100 Days to Go GCSE Higher Revision video. In today's video we're going to focus on our first topic, so it's 100 days to go until your GCSE maths paper, and today we're going to focus on angles and parallel lines. So angles and parallel lines, I'm going to grab the Corbettmaths revision card here. You've got your alternate angles, so if you've got your two parallel lines, you've got your alternate angles, your corresponding angles, your co-interior angles, and your vertically opposite angles. And it's important that you know what each of these are and how to use them to answer questions on them. And in this video I'm about to go through these in a bit more detail and go through some questions. Try these questions yourself as well, and then at the end of the video I'll come back and give you some advice in terms of where to get some extra help on angles and parallel lines. So hope you enjoy the session. Okay, so let's have a look at today's topic. So today's topic is angles and parallel lines, and here's part of the Corbettmaths revision card. So we've got alternate angles and corresponding angles. So whenever we've got parallel lines and we've got a line that cuts it, so the transversal that cuts those parallel lines, you'll find that lots of the angles are the same as each other. And what we do is sometimes we've got names for them so that whenever we say that that angle is the same as that one, we can then give a reason for it. So here, if you've got a lines like so, these parallel lines, and you've got a line that cuts it like so, this angle here, this 75 degrees, and this 75 degrees will be the same as each other, and they are alternate to each other. So this angle is the same as this one, so we say they are alternate angles. And likewise, this angle here, this obtuse angle, and this one over here, they're alternate to each other, so we say they're alternate angles as well. So whenever you've got those parallel lines, this angle and this angle are alternate to each other, and this angle and this angle are alternate to each other. Some people like to call them Z angles, but we tend not to use that, or it's frowned upon, so call them alternate angles rather than Z angles. Okay, so now let's have a look at corresponding angles. So we've got a pair of parallel lines, this line and this line, and we've got a straight line that cuts them. You've got identical angles. If you have a look here, the bottom right angle would be the same as the bottom right one. The bottom left one here would be the same as the bottom left one there. The top left one here would be the same as the top left one here. And the top right one here would be the same as the top right one there. So whenever you say any of those are equal to each other, you say they're corresponding angles. So this angle is the same as that one because they're corresponding. This angle is the same as that one because they're corresponding. That one's the same as that one because they're corresponding. And the bottom left is the same as the bottom left because they're corresponding. Some people like to say that they're F angles. Again, try to use corresponding angles instead, or actually do use corresponding angles rather than saying F angles. Okay, so we've looked at our alternate angles and our corresponding angles. Now let's have a look at co-interior and vertically opposite angles. So if we've got a pair of parallel lines, and again that single line that cuts them like so, the angle here and the angle here, you'll find that they always add together to be 180 degrees. So for instance, if this one was 50 degrees, that would be 130 degrees. If this was 1 degree, that would be 179 degrees, and so on. So whatever these two angles are, they will always add together to be 180 degrees. And likewise, this angle and this angle will always add together to be 180 degrees. So that's what we call co-interior angles. So these two angles will always add together to be 180 degrees. So if we know one, we can work out the other one. And then another thing to look at is vertically opposite angles. If you have two straight lines that cross each other, the opposite angles will always be equal to each other. So here we've got a 135 degrees and 135 degrees, and here 45 degrees and 45 degrees. So when two straight lines cross each other, the opposite pairs of angles are the same as each other. Okay, let's have a look at some questions. So again, we're going to go through some questions in this video. If you want to pause the video and to try the questions yourself, feel free to, and you can then see if you got them right. Alternatively, if you just want to watch me go through the questions, feel free to do that also. Okay, so here we've got two pairs of parallel lines. We've got RS and TU, and we've got some angles that are labeled. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And the question says, which angle is corresponding to H? So corresponding angles. So we've got these parallel lines, and we've got the line that crosses them. So as you can see, we've got lots of angles that are equal to each other. A is the same as E, C is the same as G, B is the same as F, and D is the same as H because they're corresponding. The bottom right is the same as the bottom right. The top right is the same as the top right. The top left is the same as the top left, and the bottom left is the same as the bottom left. So which angle is corresponding to H? That's going to be D. So D is corresponding to H. Okay, next it says which angle is alternate to C. So alternate, so we look here and here. So these two angles, C and F, they're alternate to each other. And some people use that Z angle, but I like to think of them just being alternate like so. So the C and F. So C and F are alternate to each other. C and F. D and E would also be alternate to each other. So C and F are alternate and D and E are alternate. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So our next question, again, feel free to pause the video if you want to, and then to try the question yourself. And whenever you're ready, press play. So we've got a diagram, and it says in the diagram, A, B, and CD are parallel. And we've got an angle. This angle is labeled 80 degrees, and we've got this angle labeled X. And it says work out the size of the angle marked X. So as you can see here, we've got two parallel lines, and we have got some angles that are the same as each other. And we've got here, X is the top right here, and 80 degrees is the top right. So that means they're corresponding angles. That means they're equal to each other. So that means that X is equal to 80 degrees. And give a reason for your answer. Well, they are corresponding. And that's it. So we've just written down that X is corresponding to the 80 degrees. They're corresponding angles. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So our next question, again, feel free to pause the video and try this question yourself. Okay, so we've got pairs of parallel lines. We've got this line is parallel to this line. And the question says to work out the size of this angle X and to give a reason for your answer. So as you can see, we've got parallel lines and we've got angles inside of them, like so. They are co-interior angles. These two angles will add together to be 180 degrees. As you can see, this is an acute angle and this is an obtuse angle, and they will add together to be 180 degrees. So we've been asked to work out the size of this angle. So if we do 180 degrees, take away 54, that's equal to, boring, we've got 10 take away 4 is equal to 6, 7 take away 5 is equal to 2, and then we've got our 1. So that means that X is 126 degrees. And to give a reason for your answer, well, we'll say co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. So co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at another question. So this time we've got a little diagram, and we're told that the lines PQ and RS are parallel. So PQ and RS are parallel to each other, and we've been asked to work out the value of X. So we want to find the size of this angle. And again, feel free to press pause and to try this question yourself, and then press play whenever you're ready. Okay, so in this question, we're told that PQ and RS are parallel, and so these are parallel lines, and then you've got this line that crosses them diagonally. That means that this angle and this angle are alternate to each other. So it means that if this angle is 60 degrees, this angle up here is 60 degrees. And actually, if you wanted to, you could get your ruler, you could carry on that line, and carry on that line, and you could carry on this line, and you'd see that they're alternate angles, or some people call them Z angles, but alternate angles. So it means that this angle is 60 degrees. Now also, we've got two straight lines that cross each other. So if this angle is 101 degrees, this angle here would be 101 degrees. And if we have a look here, we've got a little triangle, and we can work out the size of this angle X, because these three angles, the 60, the 101 and X, will add together to be 180 degrees. So 101 plus 60 is equal to 161 degrees. And then if we do 180, take away 161, that's equal to 19 degrees. So it means that X is 19 degrees. And that's it. And that's it. So in this video, we've gone through angles and parallel lines. We've looked at alternate angles, so those Z angles, but make sure you call them alternate angles. Those corresponding angles, like bottom right, top left, and so on. We've looked at co-interior angles, so those angles will add together to be 180 degrees, and vertically opposite angles being equal to each other. And that's it. So I hope you found it useful going through the angles and parallel lines. In the description below, I've got links to the practice questions on them. So if you do want to do some extra practice on angles and parallel lines, you can click that link and it'll bring you straight to the practice questions on angles and parallel lines. So I hope you found this useful. Also, just remember not to call them F angles and Z angles, and to call them their proper names, alternate angles, corresponding angles, and so on. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have found it useful, please like it and please subscribe, and keep an eye out for tomorrow's video, which is going to be released at 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock every day, I'll do a new video to help you prepare for your upcoming GCSE maths exams. So see you tomorrow. Bye.